Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first installment of the SuiteDash Masterclass series for 2022. My name is Mike Lambert. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. So welcome to everyone joining us. Let's look in the chat real quick and see. We have some people from North Kakalaki. That's close to home, and DC, Kansas City, Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Leonardo. Vernon, Spencer, Laura, bunch of you guys from Mexico, Miami. All right, cool. Thanks for joining us, everyone. You can post questions in the chat. Giorgio is here to help take care of you. I will do my best to keep. Hi, Claudia from Portugal, Montreal, New York, Bernadette. Yes, I see you all. Very good. Okay, so Giorgio can answer some questions for you in the chat. I probably will try to keep an eye on the chat, but more than likely, we're just going to keep focused and keep moving here. So good. I'm glad to have you all here. I'll be your host today for this masterclass session entitled Profit More, Work Less. Oh, yeah, that would be great. And it is great. It's possible. We're going to talk about that today. Okay, so everybody buckle up. We're on a mission today, and our mission is to take this hero you see here and represented by you to a place of freedom represented by hashtag Sweet Freedom, which we'll get to in a minute, right? But our mission is I'm going to shine a light on a hard truth today. That's what we're going to do. And through no fault of their own, the truth is most business owners don't really understand how to run a business. It's the most common and insidious threat. Yeah, it kills businesses just like yours every single day. The statistics cannot be denied. They're clear and overwhelming. So, yeah, it's not a great outlook if you start a business. The statistics are against you. The odds are against you. But I'm going to offer a solution and give you a plan, a definable strategy, a framework that will help you methodically streamline your business using systems, planning, automation, okay? But not only am I going to outline a plan, I'm also going to introduce you to the tools, a software, the platform that will empower you to execute the plan. So I think you know where I'm going here, and let's just be a little transparent and make sure we understand, okay? I am the founder and CEO of SuiteDash, and you should 100% expect that I'm going to talk about SuiteDash and recommend SuiteDash and show you all the great things that SuiteDash can do, right? Of course I'm going to do that, right? But it's not just some run-of-the-mill normal sales pitch that I'm giving, because this case is unique in that I'm the founder. I truly believe in the value of the strategies that we're going to discuss today, and I learned them. I learned them most of the time the hard way, to be honest. I lived them. I lived through them. I leveraged them. In fact, I was so invested in the power of these strategies that SuiteDash, the platform, was conceptualized, planned, executed from the very beginning to give business owners just like you. But remember, in the beginning, that business owner was me. So, I was really serious about what we were doing. We're building this platform to help business owners have the tools to build their businesses, their systems, their automations in just one place, a central hub for all their team collaboration, client interaction, etc. One login, one learning curve, all in one software. And that's what we're building here. But you might be asking, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And how does he know these things? And the biggest question, why should I listen to him? It's a valid question, 100% valid. The truth is, I'm just like you. I'm a hardworking business owner with a strong entrepreneurial drive. I might have started a little bit before some of you. In fact, I started a long time before some of you, that's for sure. But we all have the same drive. We all have the same aspirations. We are all driven by the same thing. And trust me, I understand that part. But to really understand, we'll have to go back a long, long time ago in a century far, far away and tell you the story about how I came to be here today And really, it's the SuiteDash story. So it was 32 years ago. Yeah, in 1990 at NC State University. And what you're looking at here is my first computer. Now, I had share time with TRS-80. Many of you have heard of, I guess. But this was mine, the first one that was mine that I had full control of. And I learned a great deal on this computer back when I was starting in 17 with this. But I had the fortune of, in the North Carolina State Computer Lab, of becoming friends with a group of guys, which I can only describe as hackers. They were not damaging hackers, but they knew a lot about computers, way more than anyone I had ever met. And they introduced me to things like Telnet and Usenet and all these sort of pre-graphical internet things where you could, I remember messaging to the other side of the world with someone in Japan. Just a text message. I mean, just typing, like the message went away and then they came back. But, you know, that blew my mind. I thought, this is incredible. And back then it really was incredible. So I really took to technology and spent a lot of time learning about computers and these early technologies. By the late 90s, good old AOL, American Online, had done its best to ship CDs to everyone in America and kind of got the internet kicked off here. And in grad school, I started learning about HTML and these things called web pages. And then 24 years ago, so it was, in 1998, I made my first web page, which of all things was a virtual invitation to my wife and I's wedding. And it was great because we put up that page. People had, the internet. Her family were, all her family and my family, all from all over the country, could see the details about the wedding and learn about it and know where to go and who to call. And they all loved it. They thought it was just so cool. And of course, it was cool, right? And we had animated seagulls and beach balls. And of course, that was the thing back then, the animated clip art. It's cheesy now, but back then it was way cool. And all of her family were really impressed. And of course, that was good for me. But that was a clarifying moment, right? I realized how powerful a web page could be to touch anyone in the world, anyone in the country. And I really started digging and learning everything I could about technology and how it could be used to build a business, because I was really interested in that. How can I turn this into a business and maybe into some freedom, right? Because really that's what business is about, to make money, which really buys freedom. So it wasn't long after that I decided to build this. Back in those days, I was very much into ultimate frisbee, which, is very popular now. But back then, there was just a few of us that would meet on these fields and play. But the thing was, it was really difficult to find really good discs that could hold up to a real game, not the cheap stuff you buy at Walmart. And there weren't stores that sold these things. And also disc golf was getting popular, and there was no stores. You couldn't buy them anywhere. So I thought, well, I'll tell you what, I know how to build a website. I was learning about e-commerce. So I made relationships with all the wholesalers that provided these things, created an e-commerce website, and started selling. And we had a whole bedroom in our condo, my wife and I, of discs that we would put in boxes and ship out. And this was very, very early. But what struck me when I look back at this, and I just kind of brought this up just for this presentation, I haven't seen this in years. What kind of struck me here was just the use of all the same strategies that we try to use now when we're marketing. We had the lead gen, we had the Flying Disc University, I remember we had upsells during checkout, and we had follow-up drip campaigns to purchases, and we did all sorts of things. Even digital products were something that we were into and very successful with. Back in those days, these are disc golf holes where you throw into the chains here. But these targets were really expensive. They were $450, and then you ship them, it's another $100. So I decided that I could go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy the materials and then create a ebook, essentially a plan, take these materials, build it like this. We took pictures with digital camera, very early version, and put it together and put it up here on this site, selling it for $19.99. And this is great. I'm happy to say we sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of this particular product. And this is really where I, of course, made the association that, whoa, this means emails come in and that means money. Okay, I get it. So really that just triggered a fire where I was like, okay, this is where we need to go. So a couple of years went by, this grew, and we were really the biggest one on the internet, the biggest shop of this type. And eventually found someone and put this whole thing into fulfillment. We didn't have the discs anymore. We didn't have the whole boxes. We emptied out that room. And at that point, all of the emails from this business came in. They were all taken care of by someone else. They were all offloaded and out of our responsibility. And it was just digital only for me then. I could control everything from a laptop. And that was a really big deal. Well, that changed everything and really got me thinking in the terms of always thinking about leveraging technology and systems. And over the years, we grew and built and sold several other businesses. This one's not wanting to come up very quickly. They were up earlier, but yes. So a few other businesses that were local, and we had those going. And also during that time, I was running an agency, and the agency was great because that's where I could take all the things that I had learned and use it to help other people. And it also fed my entrepreneurial drive, which was a good thing because I was literally forbidden by my wife from starting more businesses. She said, that's it. We don't do any more. So the agency was great because I could have people, my clients would come in and I would say, okay, tell me what you want. Tell me what you're doing. And then I could just really get all that energy out and say, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do for you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to set you up over here. And we're going to make sure that you're using all these things. And my clients, of course, loved it. And that led to dozens of clients. And then, of course, I wanted to be as productive as possible. So that led to us forking off and starting to develop a WordPress plugin that created client portals that we used to organize our clients and deliver goods, accept files from them, and so on. And then that became a project that grew and grew and grew. And that really grew into SuiteDash over a very long journey, but now today we are in SuiteDash, and it has grown into a place that maybe we never would have imagined, right? So very proud of what it is today. And that was a long sort of entrepreneurial journey. But I want to make sure that you understand that this journey was a little bit different than most, okay? Because I did the work on the front end, and because I worked with systems and automations, and because I insisted on making everything a system that would set me free to the laptop level, I used to say, I was able to be away for weeks at a time, sometimes months at a time, doing things that I really loved. I was not stuck at a desk every week. I was able to enjoy a real freedom. And let's look just some pictures from that time, just some ideas of what it might have been like to work very hard for 2 or 3 weeks, and then, or 2 or 3 months, and then take a month off, take 3 weeks off, and go somewhere exotic, or go on an adventure and go sailing for the winter, or do things like this. And because I set my businesses up like this, I was able to find large chunks of time to follow my dreams, to live, work from anywhere, and run my businesses from a laptop, but also keep things moving forward during that time. And I was really refreshed and motivated because I had that freedom coming. Either I had it, or I had just come out of 2 or 3 months of this kind of adventuring, and it was great. And I had the freedom to travel, to have adventures, to live and work from anywhere, to work even sometimes from the middle of an ocean. There were times when I would be out offshore for 2 or 3 days, actually developing a website, then get back to shore, deliver the website, pick up more work, and go back again. So that was a different time, but those days were amazing. And, it was a great accomplishment, I think, and it's something that I'm learning to be proud of. Yeah, I'm not really like a super public person, and it's even a little bit uncomfortable for me to even talk about this and show these pictures. And I'm in no way trying to just impress or flex or something like that. But I just think it's important that you realize that this kind of thing is definitely possible. Okay. Profit more, work less. Yes, it's definitely possible. And remember, I was able to do all of that on 2005, 2010 technology, right? You guys are working with 2022 technology. All right. Now today's 2022. I don't get to travel as much as I used to, yes, and I definitely don't have that same kind of freedom, but I plan to. Yeah. I'm here as the CEO of a company. I have full speed kids and family happening. That's all great, and I love it. And things happen in seasons, right? Even back then, I want you to know. I mean, you're looking at these pictures. It's not like this was full time. This was not every single day and every single month. There were definitely months where I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, sometimes more maybe, trying to put everything together, trying to form everything. And but always with the goal of saying, okay, I have to get everything just right so that I can be gone, right? And that's becomes a very nice feeling and a nice pattern, and it's very rewarding. And even now, I'm doing my job now, of course, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. But I do think that there will come a time soon when all this hard work will happen, and I will be able to take 4 or 5 weeks off, maybe more, and everything will be just fine. So yeah, over the years, I've just become a specialist at building businesses and mechanisms that are designed to set the business owner free. I did it for myself and have been doing it for other people for years and years. And it's really rewarding. And even now, my efforts are focused on empowering thousands of other business owners. So even from the agency level, it was dozens and dozens. Now it's thousands and thousands through SuiteDash to take control of their businesses, become more profitable, have the times to do the things that they love, live your dreams, achieve that freedom that I was lucky enough to experience. And it's what we call around here #sweet freedom. So if you're posting pictures that set of you on vacation doing things like this, go ahead and just tag it Sweet Freedom, because especially if SuiteDash helped you get there. All right, so let's get serious again. So I'm going to warn some of you guys that this will not be really a life-affirming experience, this talk, because there's going to be some hard truth here. The facts are that 95% of all small businesses fail in the first 15 years. So that means, yeah, you can stay in business for 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe even 10 years. But during that 15-year span, that long-term span, some weeks, some months, some combination of things are going to come that are going to knock you around. You're not going to make payroll. You can't make your rent. Whatever happens, the cash flow runs out and it's over. And it happens to 95% of businesses. Now, why is that, though? I think it's just a really common and very normal thing that a typical entrepreneur and business leader starts off as a hard worker, right? Most entrepreneurs, I think you would agree, start as a worker for someone else. You know that you're doing good work. You see that you're doing good work, and you say, "Hey, man, I'm making somebody else a lot of money. I'm doing all this good work, and then this company is benefiting from it. I should go out on my own." And you're right. You should go out on your own. But what you know as the employee is hard work. Okay. You don't really know what it takes to run the business. So then you bust out, you go and you start your business and you start into it, but you don't know what you don't know what you don't know. Yes, that's the dangerous part, right? But today we're going to eliminate that risk for you. When you close this session today, you will know, you will understand what the difference is between that mindset and the mindset of a business, what I call a business artist. Okay. And because you'll have a chance to survive, you'll be able to scale, you have a chance to go places that are actually that will take you long term and protect you. Now, You might think this sounds serious. This sounds hard. I don't know if I can do this. But I'm here to tell you can do it. Yes, you can do it. I'm going to give you a lot of tips, examples, strategies. And today you're going to realize it's more than possible to have the freedom, like what you saw, to work less, to profit more. It's definitely true. And you're going to see how in just a short amount of time today. All right. Sound too good to be true? It's not. But don't take my word for it. Let me play a video for you here of SuiteDash customers who are going to tell you about it.
I can remember the moment I knew SuiteDash basically was the one.
I am so relieved to have found SuiteDash.
It just made me smile, and that probably gave me back at least 45 minutes to a day.
All of my agents can log in and manage their account themselves.
That sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
It's exactly what we needed to support our work with our clients.
I've tried many platforms, but when I was able to set up most of my dashboards that I actually have now in just a few days, I already knew what the potential could be.
I like being able to have everything in one spot. There's a nice organized feel to that. There's a de-stressing that comes along with having everything consolidated.
It has tripled my efficiency without me having to clone myself, which is a beautiful thing.
Our systems and processes have improved immensely.
The training videos have been fantastic.
The training was put together well. It was captivating. The instructors were very thorough. This was not lightweight stuff.
So the win for me in all of this is making my clients' day easier with simple to use dashboards.
Clients like the adjustment. Clients like seeing one portal to log in.
And also for members of my team that don't have a technical background, they found it very user-friendly as well.
It is such an amazing platform that continues to receive enhancements. This isn't a dead platform that was open source and forked out and abandoned. This is a very active and thriving community.
It really made me smile and realize that SuiteDash, the process that I had started in SuiteDash was going to be very helpful for me and my business going forward.
Okay, so those people are well on their way. Those sweet mates are well on their way to business mastery. Let's talk about the 4 achievements of the business journey, and this will really set the stage for the next part of the session here. And every business owner, as I talked about before, starts out with this first level, survive and struggle, right? And this level is usually characterized by early business ownership, and it's 100% necessary. Everyone has to start here. And then you have organize and systematize, right? And this is the next level. Not every business gets here. This is a second level, but it's not default. Not everyone gets here. Third level, systems and scale, and we'll go over these a little deeper. And then the fourth level, I call sell, exit, or franchise. All right, and so what do these mean? Let's go through them one at a time. Survive and struggle. Okay, so as I said, necessary, 100% normal. Everybody goes through this. Everybody experiences this, and it's just normal. This is where we go. But we need to definitely be thinking that we want to leave this level as fast as possible. And the knowledge of knowing this is actually the first key thing that you need to understand. So most business owners just never understand that there's a level beyond this. And they spend their entire career in reactive mentality. They encounter problems. They just say, okay, well, brute force will fix this. And I'm just going to reinvent the wheel over and over and over again. And as the clients come in, they just react to what the client says this time. And the next client says the next thing, and they react to that. Constantly changing, running around. But it's impossible for you to really grow your business from here, right? If you're, say, working 40 hours a week and making 40X or whatever the number is, 40K, I guess, would be a number, or 100K. If you wanted to increase your revenue, your bottom line by 10X, that'd be amazing, right? but you can't 10x 40 hours. It's just impossible. There's just no way you can work more in a one-to-one relationship to increase your bottom line. So you have to start thinking about systems and about organization and about automations and ways to streamline your business so that you can replicate your processes in a way that lets you compound your work in a way that gets you there. Let's look at the next. Organize and systematize. So again, a lot of businesses don't ever get here. They don't have the mentality to get here. They don't put in the extra work it takes to get here. And as I say here, this is a sign of business maturity. Okay. This means, oh, I'm growing up. I'm growing up as a business owner. I've learned something, and now I'm leveraging that knowledge to help my business. And now you have a proactive mentality. It means instead of just reacting every day, you kind of start seeing things coming. They call it seeing around corners. You've seen this problem before, but not only have you seen it before, you've prepared for this problem, or you prepared for this situation. You've prepared, they call it, or pre-created something that is going to help you through this in a better way than last time you saw it. And each time you encounter that problem, it's your cue to go and organize better around that problem so that next time you're going to power right through it straight away, okay? Seeing around corners. Committed to systems is characterized by this level. The next level, level 3, leverage systems to scale. Okay, so think about it in terms of locations or franchises, something like that. You know, if you have one location, you can use your systems to just really optimize that location. Sure. And everything is running super smooth. But when you take those systems and you start to replicate them and start to compound the effect and open another one or create other systems that let you compound by bringing on teams that do the same thing, but each team has its own process that they follow. This is the way that you can increase the volume, right? You can craft your organization to be more efficient, to bring in more and more, but in a way that's predictable, that is following a system. And this is also a way to eliminate your existential threats. So one of the great things about business, or one of the things you need to know, is when you start seeing success and you start feeling like, okay, we're doing really well here, the smart business owner will take a step back and say, okay, I have a good example is I have the golden goose now. Great. This thing is going to make me money. I can see that. Now I need to do the hard work and turn around and look behind me at all the things that can kill this business. And sometimes it's not that pleasant. Then you have to start thinking about, oh, I have to go dig into insurance and all these other really ugly things, these regulatory things that are forms and government regulations and all these other things that you really didn't want to think about in the beginning because you're too busy working, building the business. But this is the level where you take the time to turn around and close all those doors, batten down the hatches, as they say, make sure that you have all the existential threats taken care of, and prepare yourself to go long term. If you don't do that, you could be a statistic, right? One of the things that people say, and I like to say here, especially employee level, they'll say, "Ah, man, this place is so corporate. It's gone corporate, really corporate." And that's like a bad thing, you know. Oh, they're corporate, and they're talking about the processes and the handbooks and the policies and all these things, right? And they talk about it in a negative way. But one thing is, did you ever think that that's how they got corporate? That's how they became corporate? By having those processes codified, all put together in a very organized way, so that when they went to the next location or the next place, or they expanded into this region, they knew exactly how to do it. They knew exactly the framework to follow, and they step by step did it very easily and efficiently. And that's how they protected the business and made sure they could expand. So, you know, next time you hear somebody say that, think about it like, oh, well, you know, actually that's probably a good thing. All right, let's keep going. The fourth level is what is enjoy the pinnacle, I say, right? So this is the institutional legacy business. This is when you can sell your business very easily. Somebody sees the value in it. It's ready to go. It's not relying on you necessarily, or even some top level of management. It has systems so deeply rooted that anybody can take that business and just plug into those systems and just keep it, and it'll keep going. And that's why it has value, right? That's why somebody wants to buy it, because, hey, this thing's a machine. It's running. It's not dependent on Bob or Nancy or this guy over here, or they've closed all the back doors. All the existential threats are taken care of. Now it has real value, right? And I call this the pinnacle of business art here. And this gives you true freedom, amazing choices, and very, very few businesses get to this place of real pinnacle of the business. But hey, no reason not to shoot for it, right? But for sure, the only way to get here, and even to level 2 and level 3 and level 4, is to systematize your business in a way that you have everything organized, everything defined. The instruction manual of your business is put together so that someone else could pick it up and run it. And until you have that, you're really just going to be stuck in level 1, struggle and survive. All right. Before we continue, let's hear from a SuiteMate, from a SuiteDash customer whose story perfectly illustrates what it means to build, scale, sell a business using systems.
So when I started my virtual firm in 2017, I had in mind 3 key goals. Number 1, I knew I wanted mobility so I could work from anywhere that I wanted to. Number 2, I wanted scalability so I could keep my team lean while I grew. And number 3, I wanted efficiencies to maximize, profitability. I knew in order to achieve these goals, I needed a good systems and technology strategy in place. So after 4 years of running my firm, I decided that I was going to sell it. And in September 2021, that's what I did. I listed my firm, and there were about 50 interested buyers from all over the continent. I ended up speaking to about 20 of them and then shortlisted down to 5. Almost all of the buyers not only wanted to buy the client list, but they wanted my systems as well. They wanted to know exactly how I was running my business without a physical office or any on-site employees. Now, most traditional CPA firms are valued with a 1x revenue model. So a firm that makes $500,000 in gross revenue is valued at that same amount. As a virtual CPA firm, I ended up selling my firm with a valuation of 1.5 times my gross revenues. So not only did my systems help me create a very efficient and profitable business while I ran it, servicing clients from coast to coast, but my firm was 33% more valuable than most firms with the same amount of revenue. I can't emphasize enough how you will always win by investing in good systems to run your business.
Okay, so Mark he did a great job there, and he had a plan. So let's listen to Sun Tzu here from The Art of War. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. So what does it mean? It means you need to have a plan. You need a plan before you start acting. So let's decide, let's go and see what is our strategy here before we think about how we're going to profit more, work less, right? Let's focus on the number 10. This will be our sort of paradigm, our framework to work around. Let's focus on 10. And what do I mean? We're going to identify 10 phases of the business cycle. And here they are. Number 1 is positioning and marketing. And then you'll go to lead generation. And every one of you can sort of adapt and feel and see how this sort of comes into your business, whether it might be a little bit of a variance, but most businesses fit this model. Positioning and marketing to lead generation. And once you have the lead, then you win the business. Then onboard the client or the prospect. Then you need to organize the work. While the work is going on, you have client communication. then delivering the work, getting paid, referrals and reviews after you've closed the business, and then client follow-up. So these are the 10 phases of the business cycle. We're going to focus on all 10, and we're going to focus on a 10% gain in efficiency. Okay. And this is what we're looking for. From where you are now, we want to go 10% more efficient. And what does that mean? In some parts of the business, it means a 10% increase. And in some other parts of the business, it means 10% decrease. But in general, we can say a 10% efficiency will cover everything, and we'll just focus just on that. And you'll see how that works. So here's our goal, a 10% gain in 10 phases over 10 months. Okay, and see, we have our little hero guy here in the bottom left. He's looking ahead at the challenges ahead, this climb up this business, these business phases, this business challenge. And he's thinking, okay, let's see if we can get 10% gains in 10 phases in 10 months. And that's going to be your challenge as well. All right, so let's start. And keep in mind, guys, we're talking about 10% in 10 months. That's 1% a month, 1% that you need to focus on. So let's just think about that. All right, let's start with positioning and marketing. Okay. One of the most unappreciated aspects of marketing is the need to first identify your target audience and do the work of molding a product, your product or your service, to that audience. Okay, so a lot of people think of marketing only as, oh, I'm sending emails, or I'm advertising on Facebook, or I'm just building, I'm ads, emails, all these things. Yes, but that's the proactive side. That's the active side of it. The before that is the proactive side of, let's craft our product or service and make sure that we have something that really, really fits and really is attractive before we build around it and go to market with marketing. Okay. So you need to spend a lot of time building a clear value, and don't just advertise, say that you're an accountant or a coach or a web agency. That's just everybody is that, right? If you do that, you'll just be commoditized, which means you'll just become another one of those people out there. And if I was a client, a prospect looking for an accountant, I'll just see, well, whatever, I'll just throw a dart. They all look the same to me. They all have a website. They all have this, they all have that. And okay, yeah, I'm not seeing much different here. Let's just see. So the term for preparing yourself before you go to market, before you create marketing, before you create your first marketing asset, is called positioning. Okay. So position yourself, and this will get you more results, and therefore get you your 10% efficiency increase in this case that we're looking for in marketing. All right, so how do we do that? We look for ways to be better, right? More of the good, play on the greed. Less of the bad, play on the fear, the inconvenience, the problems, the lack of communication. Those are the bad things. We play on the good, better service, better accessibility, better communication, right? We need to play on these things, and we need to use what the tools of modern technology, right? That's what we need, the 2022 obvious tools to do that. And when we get that, we need to not be afraid to shout about it. Now, what is the way in 2022 that you can set yourself apart using technology in a way that's really, really dramatic? Well, I would contend that it is a client portal or software that will allow you to interact with your clients in a way that can be systematized, can be automated, can gain you some efficiencies, can gain you some more of the good, less of the bad, and extend beyond your very simple, very boring, very 2010 website. Not that your website is 2010, but everybody has a website now. So now that's commoditized. But going beyond that into a place where you can use software to interact with your clients and build a service that is streamlined, is a way that you can get this advantage over your competition and not be part of that commodity and stand out. You're going to be more of the good, less of the bad. Design your advantage, we say here. Let's think about what my advantage might be. So look, you have to understand the new generation. They do not want to speak to you on the phone. They do not want to receive an email with PDF forms attached that they need to print out and fill out. And guess what? They don't own a fax machine. It's not coming back to you like that. They don't own, I don't even think half of the millennials, they definitely don't own a fax machine. They probably don't own a printer. They want to log in. They want a dashboard. They want to log in and see their updates, their account details. They want, like a low touch, no touch experience. I mean, you guys in the chat, right? If you have clients, there's not many of your clients left that are wanting to do things in the old school way. What your newer clients, your people are saying, let me have a login. Do you have an app? Do you have a client portal? Right? So for sure, let us know in the chat if that's how that's for sure what we see. Let's say design your advantage and things like, okay, now we're building out our advantage. We're building processes in advance. We're saying, okay, now we have these processes. Yep. The millennials are out when it comes to printing or faxing, I think is right. So look, design your advantage. Now look at these. These are designed around a workflow, around something that you have, but now you can use them in your marketing. So if your marketing says easy step-by-step onboarding via our secure client portal. Hey, I like that. Sounds good to me. Review your project updates anytime, 24/7 via our secure client portal. Yes. All account and billing information is accessible in our always available online portal. Or here's a good one because we have the PWA technology at SuiteDash. Install our mobile app to always be just a few clicks away from interacting with us. Okay. So we see, right? We see what we've done now is we've actually created our marketing. Yes. We've first we've done our positioning because we've thought about it before. We've spent some time creating these workflows that say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to organize it this way, and we're going to have the client portal. Then they're going to log in. Now I'm going to take this workflow and this idea that I have now and is reality, and I'm going to design my marketing around it. So now your marketing writes itself, and not only does it write itself, it separates you from the pack. It puts you out in front, and people are saying, "Hey, ooh, that was really interesting. Let me give this guy a call. Let me give this lady a call. Let's do this. Let's become their client." And look, I get that there's people out there that just will have nothing to do with a login, nothing to do with technology at all. Although SuiteDash has been shown to be pretty technology proof as far or tech phobic proof with the magic link, etc. There will always be people who just won't do it. My recommendation to you is either specialize in those people or break up with them. Because long term, you cannot have both, right? You need to say, I'm going to design this machine. My clients are going to come through this machine, and that's how I'm going to be efficient. That's how I'm going to make money, and that's how it's going to have to be. And if they don't want to do it, I just can't deal with it, right? Let someone else deal with it. Let someone else specialize in those people. But for you, and trust me, the people that are specializing in those people, they'll never make money. They'll never grow because those people don't want to pay more, and they're super inefficient. And you can't have a million clients that are like that because they're so difficult. All right, let's move on. All right, our hero here has moved on to number 2, lead generation. All right, let's talk about lead generation. Okay, so let's have some honesty here, right? And in the chat, jump in if you're not if you know either we're like this or we're still like this, but there are thousands and millions of websites out there that have contact forms, and all the contact form does is send an email to someone, right? And if that's your situation, if you have a website with a contact form that just sends an email, then there's your 10%. Not only 10%, there's their 20%, 40% for this level right there. Okay. So let's replace that with a kickoff form that with SuiteDash that will kick off any number of automations or assignments, email sending, et cetera, and now you've dropped them in the top of a funnel that they're sliding down, and before you know it, they're 100 feet down in this funnel. Instead of, oh, they submitted the form and an email goes out, then it sits in somebody's email box and waits till that person can answer it. Then that person has to write out the email and send it. Then it has to travel and sit in the other email inbox. Then that person has to sit and wait, and whenever they can check the email, then they have to be in a spot where they can have time to write an email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Next thing you know, it's 3 days later. Maybe this person moved on. They went to another competitor. They went somewhere else. They don't think you're in business. They are put off by the fact it was 2 days later. No. That's not even a consideration anymore. Now you need a kickoff form that kicks off 3 emails to these people, puts them in some kind of thing, gets them going into the portal, delivers some kind of assets that they can start reading and get going, right? So they can do that. Let's move. That's obvious. Okay, so now let's talk about soldier kickoff forms. Soldier kickoff forms are just my terminology for a purpose-built kickoff form. So if you have, say, 4 or 5 different services, let's leverage that to say, no, let's not have just one contact form now. Let's have 6 different contact forms that we are, let's say here's kickoff forms. So you can see it makes sense to have multiple kickoff forms that each one has its own purpose. It's built for one thing, and it's built to execute in that one direction, and therefore you can really customize how it is. And the person who comes into your system, say for payroll instead of tax accounting, or they come in for a very specific service, they will feel more catered to, they will feel more accommodated, because the information will be very subjective to what they're interested in. And you can design that advantage and design that efficiency. And as such, this person is more likely to feel taken care of, more likely to want to move ahead with you. All right. In the same way, kickoff forms, we have a feature called staff submit, which, yes, we're changing now. Okay, good. So kickoff forms can be submitted by your staff members. So what you can also do is design another set of kickoff forms that is designed for when the phone rings or when somebody walks into your office. Now your staff can have that link ready to go, maybe bookmarked, and they just go right to that form. You designed it, and it's not just a form, right? It's connected to assignments and automations, and you're kicking off an entire process, but it's very easy. So the staff is on the phone. They just fill in the form. They just fill in the information. They ask the questions, fill in the information, and boom, when they submit it, it's not just data that somebody wrote down or entered into a spreadsheet. Then it becomes data that goes into your funnel and starts working its way through a designed, pre-created process that you worked at and that you understand. All right, let's go to the next one. Lead magnets and delivery. So yes, this is a tried and true strategy of, say offering a PDF or an email course. In this example, let's say we want it in the bottom left. We're offering an email course to learn for design for non-technical website owners. Okay, this is before they're our customer. We're just saying, here's some information. Here's some valuable information. We just want to help you. We're just here to help you. We're going to tell you what it's like to be a non-technical website owner, what you can do, make your own changes. Of course, we want to build the website initially, but this is going to help you. And we're after getting that email address. And then in SuiteDash, you can easily build a drip sequence that will just deliver this course over the course, in this example, 5 weeks. We're going to deliver that course. And now you have their email address that's in your CRM. It's in the same place as you're going to end up sending them a proposal or an estimate, same place that you're going to run their project, same place that you're going to deliver their invoice, et cetera, all together. All right. And now we'll say, and giving that information and positioning yourself as the guide is really important, right? So by lead generation is a lot about building trust with that end user. That's not our client yet, but we want them to be. But we don't just pound them over the head and say, "Be my client. I'm cool. I'm great. You should be with us," etc. You need to say, "Hey, I know a lot about this, and here I'm going to show you that I know a lot about this by just saying, hey, I just want to tell you and give you some advice. And here's some things that you should think about. Here's some things you should know about." And one of the ways you could do that is even using LMS, right? So don't think of LMS. I know a lot of you guys are really big LMS fans, and you waited for it. It's here now, and it's growing, and it's iterating, and there's some new exciting things coming soon. But LMS can be used in so many different ways than just building a course. You can design an experience, an educational experience that's designed to bring people in. Maybe you make a course about here's 10 things that you really need to know about bookkeeping and the good things that can happen when you use a bookkeeper, and the scary things about not using a bookkeeper. We saw this happen. We saw that happen. And this is before they're even your client, but you're just saying, "Hey, we know a lot about this, and we want to help you make sure you avoid mistakes. We want to make sure that you're well educated before you do business with us." And getting them into the portal is a really, really strong first step. If they come into the portal and they're there for an LMS course or whatever you design for them there, very strong. We couldn't say the portal is the gateway drug, right? So in your lead generation, if you can use any one of these strategies to just gain a little bit of efficiency and design that efficiency, for sure you can get your 10% efficiency here. All right, let's move on. This is another example of once they're in the portal, they can even book an appointment with you. Actually, they can do it without being logged in as well. But, after you have them in, at any time, they can say, "You know what? I think I am ready to start doing business with them. Let me go ahead and just book an appointment because I saw where I can do that inside the portal." Great. Yes, let's book it. That's a lead gen. You're on your way to winning this business, right? Okay. So let's head to, let's see, we're going back to the journey here. Okay. All right. Our guy is on winning the business. All right, let's talk. Winning business. This can be categorized. I like to categorize this into two main categories. And I would say low touch versus high touch. Now, some of you guys have businesses where it's just kind of low touch. And what I mean by low touch is, all right, we send them an estimate and they approve the estimate. And then in SuiteDash, what's great is even the low touch can be really optimized. We send them an estimate. It can be, when they approve it, it can be automatically converted immediately in that same screen to an invoice. And then that invoice can be paid online right there in the same screen. And then attached to the invoice is the ability to trigger any one of our automations. Okay, so when the invoice is paid, you can trigger any one of our automations. When the estimate is approved, you can trigger automations across the platform. So things like just sending emails or adding to circles or doing things that triggering a contract even. So a document that needs signing. So instead of sending the estimate in an email, waiting for an email to come back, step by step by step, the back and forth with all the built-in delays that entails. No more of that. Now you send the estimate, and yes, it waits until the client is ready, but now the client can approve, pay, and that can trigger even the project already pre-created, ready to kick off. And now your work cycle has begun immediately. All right, so that's kind of a low touch. There's the estimate or the invoice can be paid. Here you're seeing a proposal. If a proposal is sent, it can be viewed online. There's multiple pages, as you see on the left. We're just showing the last page here. And then you can sign the client can sign the proposal to accept. And when they accept, that can trigger off any number of any one of our automations as well. And boom, you're off and working, right? You've passed this step. So the idea is to win the business quickly, get to the working side of it. But then let's be honest, and here's the automations. Here's some look at some of the automations that can be triggered. You can trigger an invoice generator or access invitation email, folder generator, circles, audiences, all kinds of grant LMS, all these. But let's look at the sort of high touch side of it. Let's go back to here. Yes. All right, let's look at the high touch side of winning the business. So some of you guys say, okay, for sure, I cannot do that. I can't just send an estimate. My clients they don't work like that. They need a lot more reassurance. They need a sit down meeting. They need a call. They need these things that they need me in person or on the phone to have that authentic voice of authority. And yes, you cannot automate that. And I'm the first to admit and say, for sure, that needs you. That's for you. But you can automate things before or after that. That's really where you can get your efficiency. So let's say before you get the meeting or you have the call, it's scheduled. Before the call, you're going to prepare the client in the lead up to this, and you're going to say, okay, before our call, I'm going to send you a link to our portal, our prospect portal, and that's just going to let you you're going to log in, and it's going to present you with, say, an LMS course, or take them to a start page and say, here's this information that will prepare you for our call, and you have this pre-created. You built this. It gets them into the portal. It gives them that feeling that you are their guide, that you are providing educational information. You're not pushing them. You're just saying, here, let's make sure you are fully educated and really know, all the aspects of what's important and what's not in this kind of conversation, so that you make a good decision. That gives a feeling of trust. So we prepare them for the experience by delivering that prospect portal experience before. Maybe it's testimonials, it's advice, case studies, whatever it is. You have them started, right? Encourage them before the meeting to, hey, go ahead and just install our app on your phone. That way you'll be prepared, and I can show you a few things about that when we're together, and we can talk about it. During the meeting, let's say the meeting starts, and now we're going to use let's use a strategy that can really blow them away. Let's load on our laptop or on our computer while we're on the phone a KickOff form using the staff submit feature, and this KickOff form is designed for this exact purpose. Okay. We're collecting the information on the call with the person. We have in our forms, we have a rich text custom field that will allow you to put, say, bullet points and really kind of bold things and really get that done. Now, with this KickOff form attached to it is what we call a proposal generator. And that generator is created in a generic way, but with placeholders that are going to accept data from this form. So when this form is submitted, it's going to automatically trigger the proposal generator. It's going to create a proposal, dynamically insert all the data from the form, and send it straight away to the client if that's your configuration. Let's say it is in this case. So now we have the form open. We're talking to the client on the phone. We're filling in the information. We're asking them, okay, and then I think we both said that we're going to agree to do it this way. Yes, okay. And you're making bullet points in that rich text field. In the proposal is a little place where, there's a gap, and it says, here's what we talked about on the phone, and then a placeholder. And in that rich text field, you're entering the data that's going to end up where that placeholder is. And it could be, 10 lines long. You're just making notes, but these are the actual notes from your call that will become the actual on the proposal. And then let's say near the end of the call, you say, well, okay, I think we have everything kind of figured out. You know what? Go ahead and check your email now, because what you did is you submitted that form. The proposal was generated. The email gets sent, and the proposal is there in their email inbox while you're on the phone with them. And that proposal has the exact language, the exact agreements that you guys just made on the phone. I can just about guarantee you will win that client. They will be shocked. They'll say, wow, how did they do that? And that will instantly convey on you some serious authority of, okay, if they could do that, or just, it's not like they're so magical, but they had the foresight and they put in the work to be so prepared that they had everything set up in a way that it's not magic, I understand, but there was a lot of work and detail orientation in that. And these are the people that I want to be doing business with. Just that alone will win that business. All right. Let's move a little bit more. Let's get on to quickly. Let me make through these again. All right. Okay. We've used estimates, invoices, proposals, all the strategies that we have there to make it very easy for them to agree to do business with us. And now we are moving into the onboarding side. All right. So onboarding. First, I would like to say, again, this accepting a lot of clients, they will a little bit recoil at too much automation. So what they don't want is like, okay, well, now I've signed to these people and now I'm getting this very cold, okay, now I have to go to this thing and do this and fill this out. And it feels like nobody cares and I'm on my own, I'm confused. And that's a really easy way to get that client a little upset at your funnel that you're trying to put them through for efficiency. My advice is prepare the client. Okay, let's go to the next. Prepare the client. You need to say in your meeting or in your communications at some point, you need to make sure that you are painting your process in a way that you're setting the stage. You're saying, hey, just so you know, when we get started, you're going to receive an email. It's going to get you started in our onboarding process. And this process is it's designed to make it very easy for you. And it works you step by step through the situation, through the data that we need. If you have problems, don't worry. You can contact me at any time. But most people don't have problems with it. Okay. So that you just psychologically kind of got them right there. So, but most people really don't have any problems. So then they're going to be kind of determined to make it through it now because most people don't have problems and I'm smarter than most people somehow. And yes, but just preparing them will psychologically help them as they go into your process. So just something to say. That's not a deal breaker, but definitely something to say as far as smart thing to do in your messaging, in your funnel, in the ways that you're designing these efficiencies and these systems to prepare them in that way. So then when they start, it will feel normal. They'll feel like, oh, well, this is part of the elevated service that I'm receiving. Yes, I feel good about this. Okay. So one of the ways you can onboard people in a very nice way and keep them feeling warm and feeling educated and feeling informed and on top of things is using what we call a start page as a kind of a welcome hub, right? So you can set a start page based on circle affiliation. So imagine that, in this example, it's payroll is the circle. So as we talked about before, having soldier kickoff forms that are designed around circles, which a circle is a type of client or it's a way of grouping clients that are similar, right? And then giving them a similar experience. However, it's unique. Typically, you want to design it so that it's unique using dynamic information. But in this case, a start page is the first place that they'll be redirected to when they log in. So let's look at it now. What you're seeing here is just the admin side of assigning a start page. But then from the client side, when they log in, when a client will log in, they're going to be redirected immediately to that start page. And that then becomes basically their dashboard, right? And you'll see on the left side, this custom menu has been redesigned to eliminate, say, the default dashboard. And now this person, because they're in payroll circle, is going to be redirected to this very uniquely designed dashboard just for payroll clients. Okay. So, but you can take this to any number of levels. You can say, okay, well, it's going to be charts or it's going to be information, or it just could be like a video of you or somebody in your organization, or just a few paragraphs of saying, welcome to our client portal. This is what you can see. This is what you can expect. If you want to do this, go over here. If you want to do that, go over here. If you look to your left and see this or that. But just something to when they land, when they come in, you're definitely giving them a unique experience that helps them feel comfortable right away inside the portal. This is good. And also, if you need more information from them, you want to put that right on the start page, because now you can just start to build a step-by-step onboarding that will allow you to get everything you need to get to the next level, or the next step in your phase, which will be executing the work. So yes, the start page as a welcome hub. But let's look now at this is another strategy what you're going to see now, and this is what we call flows. So this would be another type of onboarding methodology that you could put together. So instead of going, say, to a start page, you could go to a flow. And the flow is, as you can see, is a step-by-step organized data acceptance is one way to say it. They can upload files, they can fill out forms, they can download files. You can use HTML steps to just explain the next step. You say, okay, like what you're seeing here on this introduction. That's just an HTML step that says, welcome everyone, welcome, and here's what we do. On the next step, you're going to do this. Boom. And then on the next step, you're going to do that. And you can see that all of this is designed with your logo, your colors, custom URL, completely invisible. SuiteDash is not there. This is a way. Imagine that imagine all the emails that go back and forth to gather information before you can start work. But what if you could design a process where the client comes in, they have a detailed and organized way of giving you that information in a very short amount of time. Even one sitting, in the case of a flow, is how it's designed to do in one sitting. And all of a sudden, you have all the information. The golf ball is on the tee. It's time to go to work, right? This is what we try to design and try to make possible for you to create. All right, the next thing I want to show you is just the automations. At all places, you can, they're what we call checkpoints for automations. In many places in the platform, you can trigger these checkpoints, and this is one you'll see on the payment of an invoice. This one happens to be. But you get these options here. Now, at all these places, I can execute these automations. I can recategorize. I can change the circle of a client. I can generate a document, which is a contract. I can generate a proposal. I can I can send an email to this person, send an email to that person in my staff, send an email to the target, which was the client in this case. So the options are really just unlimited here. So you can string together exactly the order of onboarding that you need, the amount of communication that you need, the direction of communication that you need can all be done using these no-code automations. You can see that we're not asking you to do rocket science here. This is pretty simple stuff. And why? Because it's an all-in-one platform. All the tools are in one place. And so then connecting them and making one tool jump when another tool says go, it's not that difficult because it's all in the same place. And now all you have to do is kind of draw a line from one to the other and say, okay, now you go, and now you go, and now you go. Your turn, right? Okay, so this is just a demonstration of those very easy automations. And here's just a look at the automations in general. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is file request. So this is another really nice way to help onboard and help get assets from the client. Say, for example, if you're a web designer, one of the things that you need really quickly is you're going to need either logo files or you're going to need photos for the website. And those can become difficult to just kind of receive by email and organize. And then you run into limitations of file size, etc. So file request is designed exactly for this. You just click file request, you specify which folder it's going to go into, you can add a deadline, and then you can send it to the user. You can even send it to people that are outside the system, just an email address. And what they receive is a really simple link that takes them non-logged. They don't have to be logged. It's super easy. They click it. It's a generic Dropbox type link here. And they can just upload files, and that's it. It's so easy. And then there's no size restrictions. There's no complexity. They don't have to know anything. They just click upload, and then it happens. And also they can use the same link over and over and over again. So, as you can just say, just use that link that I sent, you can use it over and over again. Very, very simple. And we've seen our customers who are web designers say this is a game changer for us because people are just using it with no problems. Even the tech challenged ones are saying, yeah, this is very easy. I have no problem at all. So yeah, very cool. All right. And then one other thing I would say is during the onboarding process, think about LMS. Yeah, continue to think about LMS as an option for a situation where you're at all phases of the cycle. Maybe you make a series of courses that just let people know, that educate them. Okay, we're about to start the work. This is what's going to happen. This is what you should expect. And then it's going to go here, and then it's going to go here. Your clients will absolutely love it, to be this overwhelming volume of just this information. Not overwhelming, and you might think it's overwhelming, but this really can't be too much. They love communication. They love these things that they can log in and read about their project, how it's going to go, what they can expect. And even if you don't gain efficiency here, think about the impression you're making on them and the number of people that they're going to tell about that. Over time, all this stuff adds up. Okay. So now our hero here has moved from onboarding to organizing the work. Let's take a look. Organizing the work. So project management, essentially. I'll say that I don't have a lot of screenshots of features here in this section, but one of the most powerful things you can do is to pre-populate your work. So you can use forms to populate custom fields very easily. I think most of you who have been in the platform for even a day understand how to do that. Then you can feed back that data inside a project using the project descriptions. There's two different directions you can show. There's one uniquely for the client side. There's one uniquely for the staff side. And you can take that information and feed it back right into the project. So, for example, if you need in the project some series of data that, or like logins or URLs or just the answers to preferences from the client, you can insert those dynamically in like a project generator so that when the project is created, that data gets automatically written into that description that your staff then has access to as they begin work on the project. Nobody has to organize that and pass it along. Nobody has to pass information. It's just done in a millisecond, and that efficiency is built in. So that's a big one. Pre-populate your work. Use project generators. Use task templates. Use these things that will help you. And automate the start too. Definitely use project generators so that at some point in that process, that project generator is going to automatically generate a project based on a template, based on that generator, and fill it with tasks and phases based on the task template, right? Okay, so before we go any further, here's a strategy. Some people will say, I can't, I'm trying to make a project generator and I feel like I would never be able to get it right the first time, right? And make it perfect so that it would be usable. No, you probably won't, actually. So here's how you do it, right? You create a project generator and you start. Let's say you get a project, comes in, you say, all right, this is the one I'm going to use to get started with. So you don't create the project, start with the generator and fill out the task templates, fill out the generator metadata, do as much as you feel comfortable with. Start with the task template, say, okay, we need this task, we need that task. There's 10 tasks that I know for sure we'll need. And I've described them. I'm not really sure past that what it's like, what's going to happen, or what would fit well here. But when you run out of ideas or you just get frustrated and you want to stop and it just feels like too much, then stop. Definitely just stop. And then generate a project with that project generator and use that as your starting point. And then work the project. Along the way, when you notice there's a deficiency or something that you need to change, make a note and continue to make notes as you go through that project. Then on your next project, you're going to go back to that same project generator with your notes and you're going to adapt. You're going to fix it. You're going to change it. You're going to add to it. You're going to make it better and better and better. You're going to spend that 30 minutes or something making it better. And then you're going to generate another project, and you're going to work that project. And as we said, it's 10% efficiency over 10 phases of business in 10 months. This is not an overnight easy process. But let's say you go through that iteration 3 or 4 times, and now you have a project generator that's really pretty close to what you need to generate and work that project without a whole lot of hiccups. And boom, after that, now you can automate that and you can get started right away, and you don't have to recreate project, start from scratch, brainstorm it again. Oh, I forgot, that was been a long time, or this or that. All these inefficiencies solved because you took the time to layer on that knowledge over time and make it better and better. All right. And this is just in the projects. You can have in projects, phases, and tasks. You can access any one of these automations to trigger when a task is complete. You can add an automation, which can just be simple as an email, but it can be as complex as, okay, now we want to move the deal from this stage to that stage. And these are some things that we can't go all the way into, but it helps understand. Make sure that we're using the project dashboard. The project dashboard is a great way to communicate with the client in a efficient way, something that lets you organize everything into date stamped updates that you're typing to the client. You say, okay, here's what we're doing. And in each date stamp, you can add the percentage of completion can be there. So the client can literally log in and see, here's the project. I'm in the project. Here's the update. Came into me. These get sent by email notification optionally. They can answer back to you, as you see John Wick did here. And now I can answer back to him. All this is kept in a threaded conversation so that everything is organized. And it can be here for accountability purposes, for review purposes, etc. And so the project dashboard is designed to help you organize the work, provide updates in an efficient and professional way, fully branded to the client. And yeah, you can believe that your clients will think this is pretty cool and log in here and say, oh, okay, I see where we are. This is great. This is great. I feel really well taken care of. Okay, let's go to the next. So let's see. Yeah. So let's say take advantage of phases. Phases are groups of tasks that are basically, you'll say phase 1 would be the preparation, the information gathering part of a project. We're going to group those tasks into a phase. And then the next phase will be, okay, now we have to prepare the documentation or however, and then 3, 4, or 5 phases as you go through the project. But you can use phases to group tasks together and then tell the system when this phase is marked complete, you want to execute these automations, right? And then you'll also tell the phase, automatically complete yourself when all the tasks inside you are marked complete. So now your team can be working in 4 or 5 different countries around the world, doesn't matter, each of them with their own tasks, marking them complete. And then in an automated way, when that last one gets marked complete, the phase will auto-complete itself, thus triggering the automations, which can be anything we've talked about. They can be emails, they can be an email cannon, it can be change the messaging, add into a new audience. Anything can be automated then, and now we're on to the second phase. So can you see how you can build in these efficiencies and these automatic completions and automatic processes that will save time from someone having to manage these processes, on a daily basis? Oh, they went on vacation. Well, how much time are we going to lose? It's just not even a comparison compared to if you take time to design and pre-create these things and build your business in this way. Yes, you can really realize some efficiencies. Let's look at the tracking time. So if you have your employees or your freelancers tracking time, they can do that directly in the platform using the time tracking widget. And then they can use the automated tools here, like accumulating generator, to just add that timer to an accumulating generator, which you'll see here. then that accumulating generator, its job is to generate an invoice on a schedule that you define. Let's just say every month. So now all your staff, you just tell your staff and your freelancers, just track your time. When you're finished, add it to the accumulating generator for that client, Linda Evans, and you're done. That's it. Everybody does the same thing. Then move on to the next. And who's responsible for generating the invoice? Who's responsible for running the reports for the timer? Who's responsible for collecting those reports? And then who's responsible for adding those timeline line items into an invoice and then sending that to the client? Who's responsible for those 6 steps? Nobody. No one. Why? Because the accumulating generator is on a schedule. It just holds all those timers, patiently waiting until the time comes, the appointed time and place that you have configured. And it takes all those items, it creates an invoice with all those items, sends the invoice to the client. If you don't have to do that, but that is an option. And then it wipes itself clean and it says, okay, I'm ready for next month. I'm empty now. Right? No one has to remember to send the invoices now if you're running this way. And not just timers. You can just add items, expenses, put them on there. And then all month long, you're just adding items to this holding area, which is the accumulating generator. And it accumulates those things. And then on its schedule, it does its job and makes that invoice and sends it. And you can have one of these for every one of your clients. And you can do the work for every one of your clients all month long. And no one forgets to invoice that timer. No one forgets to invoice that item. All you have to do is remember to put it into that accumulating generator. All right. Let's move on. All right. Client communication. So the first thing I say for client communication is you can never do it too much. That's for sure. You can never communicate too much with your clients. Do you have time to communicate a lot with your clients? No, you do not. No. And that's why it doesn't happen. And that's why you occasionally will get an upset client who comes in and says, well, I really was not happy with how things were going. Well, why? Because I just didn't hear anything for 3 or 4 weeks or a month or whatever it was. Okay, I got it. Yes, that's true. Because why? You were working. You were busy. You were doing things. This is normal. It's not your fault. However, what if you could build into your processes, as we looked at before, the automations, these emails that are designed to go out at different phases or different points in your process in an automatic way. And you pre-create those. You make them sound nice and personal. You put in some dynamic data placeholders. And you just make sure that at each place that it makes sense. You just send in that email notification to the client, right? And they get it. And it says, hey, good job completing that such and such. You did a great job. Now the next step is we're moving on to this. Hey, client, we just finished this little part of your job. Everything looks great. We'll let you know if we need any other information, right? That doesn't mean that they're going to call you. It's not slowing you down, but having that email in their mind means those people are doing a good job. That's all they want to know. That's all they want to feel included. Now these automated emails are going out and now you look like a rock star. Your company looks great. Hey, this is good, right? So again, on these client strategies, use a start page and a special start page. We talked about before about start page as sort of an onboarding mechanism. But what if after things get started, you change this client's circle, which then changes their start page? So the next time they log in, they hit the start page like, oh, the project is underway. And when they log in, we present them with information along the way about the client, about the project, or maybe even include dynamic information. Maybe we show them a progress bar there, a progress meter, or maybe we build our very own sort of pseudo project dashboard there that's unique for us and or unique for your industry. You definitely do that. And the task, phase, and project automations, yes, use those to trigger those emails that we talked about. We showed the project dashboard to give project updates. Inside each project is what we call client talk, which allows you, the project manager and any admins to communicate back and forth with client It does not allow freelancers to communicate with them. It does not allow teammates to communicate. It's sort of high level. Here's what's going on. It's threaded inside the project, so it's very specific and unique to that project area. So everything stays siloed there. And then we have the built-in secure messaging. You can use that. It's really, really robust. It has canned responses, auto replies, read receipts. You can limit who the client can message. Can they only message their coordinator? Yeah, you can set that up. Can they message only these 4 people? Yes, you can set that up so that they're not seeing your entire team, or they're not seeing all your freelancers, or they're not seeing anything that you don't want them to see. All that is controllable inside the secure messaging. And those messages go back and forth in a very secure way, so that it's all, again, siloed, it's secure, it's organized, it's accountability. And here's another one that's kind of a sensitive subject these days, this read receipts, right? So now a lot of email providers are blocking these read receipt pixels so that you can't actually know when people read your message. Well, you can inside the secure messaging, because guess what? It's all inside the platform. Nobody can block that. And we 100% can tell you this person logged in and this person saw that message. That is a guarantee. Unless someone stole their username and password, or they've been compromised, it was them. And there are times in business, and nobody likes to have those times where you kind of need to prove it, or you need to say, yeah, you did. Nobody likes those times, but in business, those times sometimes happen. And when they happen, it's much better to have the information than not have it, right? Sometimes it can change the game. Okay, and we talked about automated notifications and how those can benefit you with the client communication. Okay, now we're on to delivering the work. This is where everything is complete. Now we want to just deliver what we've done in whatever capacity that takes. We can use a start page or a portal page as a delivery hub, right? You could use that and organize a nice looking little layout. So here's your this, here's your that, here's your link to that file, here's the information here. Here are your username and passwords, all very securely organized and presented to them. And not just in that one moment, remember, right? They can log back in to access that information anytime. And so you can keep that as a repository of that information, that delivery, so that they don't, and they will, call your secretary or call your administrative assistant and say, hey, I really lost that stuff. Can you think you can get that for me again? And look, we know that those things might take 10 or 15 minutes, maybe longer, but 10 or 15 minutes can really upset a workflow of someone for an hour, sometimes more. It's just an unneeded thing. And anything that you can say, your assistant can say, that's in your portal. All you have to do is log in there. And if you forgot your username and password, don't worry. Just click the magic link and it'll email you a link, and you'll be right in without a password. No problem. Right? And no one can say, well, I'm just too lazy to do that. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to go to your link. They're going to go to your website, link to your portal, do the magic link, retrieve the stuff themselves. And now you've taken a 15 or 20 minute inefficiency. You've taken down to 1 minute phone call. Okay. And then the next time it's going to be 0 minutes, because they're not even going to call. They're just going to go get it. All right. So then client files and file delivery. Yes, you can put all the files in their client files and organize it in a way however you like, any structure you like. You can use shared folders. There's so many ways that you can build the files into the system so that they can access them, download them, preview them, all those things by logging into the portal. And this, again, will set you apart in delivery. Look, there are still a lot of accountants sending emails with tax returns attached. They shouldn't, but they do. No more of that. That can't happen. And in fact, you can even say that to your clients. If your accountant is doing this, they should not be doing that. What they should be doing is delivering those things in a secure portal like we do. Right? All right. Let's look at this next thing. This is called file transfer. So yes, if you're a client, it makes it easy for them to log in and get their files. Or if they're in a position they can't do that, or for example, they're applying for a loan for a house, and you need to send tax returns, is a good example, to a mortgage broker who is not in your system. Well, that's okay. You can use this file transfer toolkit here to send giant gigabytes and gigabytes of files to anyone, even if they're not in the system. You just enter their email address, create the package, send it. They'll receive an email with a link that is hashed and coded, so we know exactly what it is. They'll click that link and go to a download area where they download the files, and we've tested up to in excess of 10 gigabytes. So yes, you 8K, 4K video people, listen up, you can do it. The answer is yes. Okay. File transfer, really, really useful. Okay, let's move on. Now we have delivered the work. Now we're in the getting paid. It's my favorite one, and it should be everyone's favorite. This is what it's all about, right? So if we're going to get paid, then we need to, of course, make sure that we have invoicing and online payment. That's sort of understood. Yes, they can do it, and they can do it non-logged. That's something to point out. All your invoices that get sent out, they'll have a link where they don't even have to log in. They just click the link, pay, done. No login, no friction. Stored payment methods. We have capability in SuiteDash to request payment information. So you can do it as an admin or as a user on the staff side. You can say, I'm going to send a payment method request to this person. And they can then add either their credit card information or their bank account if you're in the US for ACH. But they can add their credit card information. We will put that on file. We don't actually keep it with us. We send it to the gateway of your choice where it's kept in a really secure PCI compliant way. They send us a token, which is just a very long string, coded string that we keep in our database. And then whenever you can, or they can, but you as the admin can't, when you create an invoice, you can just go immediately to apply payment. You can choose the payment method, and from that moment on, you can actually pay the invoices with their payment method. We send the token to Stripe or whoever and say, we need the money. Stripe says, okay, we charged it. You're good. We're good. Everybody's good. When your client logs in, they can access that payment method. It's on file. They can just use it without re-entering. Very nice and clean. Plans and subscriptions. Yes, it's all here. So you can create invoices with plans that will subscription plans for the full name, and that will create a subscription on your configuration, typically every month, and that will just automatically ding their credit card, just like a Netflix subscription. And yes, you can have that. You can even tie it, as we say, paid portal access to access the portal. So meaning that on the way in a kickoff form, you can specify paid portal access, designate the subscription or the one-time payment. And then when they enter the portal, they'll have to pay that invoice before they're allowed to continue any further. And once that invoice is paid, in the case of a subscription, then their access to the portal is actually tied to that subscription. So if the subscription fails, they will lose access. Or if they, if their card expires, or any number of things can happen. But if that subscription goes inactive, they lose access to the portal. They are presented with the ability to resubscribe, which means they can enter new payment information and get right back in. And this is the way that you can essentially make a SaaS like a, yes, Spencer, it's ACH through Stripe ACH. This is the way you can make a SaaS, like a membership style site based on how they enter the platform. You can say, oh, it's silver, it's gold, it's platinum. And with each one of those directions, you can set a different circle and therefore different accesses. So you can really build an experience around that paid portal access and essentially create like a membership site or, like a Patreon style web or membership site with different information available based on the levels. Okay. Invoice generators, kind of a deep topic, but let it just be known that we talked about the accumulating generator, which is my favorite. It's because of the work it does. It's so cool. And recurring generator It's different than a subscription. Recurring generator comes when you have someone in your local or however, and they say, look, I don't want an automatic subscription. I just want you to bill me. I want you to send me an invoice every month. I'm going to send you a check. Oh, okay, no problem. So you create a recurring generator. It's the same amount every month. You build it like that, and every month or any period that you say, a year or whatever you decide, and it will create an invoice and automatically send it optionally, or you can review it and send it, or however. And then they can send you a check. And then from the admin side, you just go to that invoice and use the record payment option. It's choose check, set pay, and you're just recording it, and that invoice is satisfied. So that's easy to do. And then we already saw the time tracking and easy invoicing with that. Talked about how that works. You can track time using the widget, or you can track time in individual tasks. There's many ways to track time. You don't have to actually run a timer. You can enter it. If you forget to stop your timer and it goes to 300 hours, you can just stop it and you can manually change it to whatever you need it to be. There's really no limitations. It's really easy to use, very user-friendly, and is a great way to go directly from the time tracker to the invoice. Skip the report. Skip the 5 steps in between. We just go right to the generator, which then does the work for us. Okay. And these are all designed efficiencies, right? Designed all inside the platform to talk to each other, to work together, to give you these efficient paths to build your business and organize your processes so that you shed that extra work, that busy work, that stuff that's not needed, that technology makes obsolete, and makes it something that if you're doing it, it's a mistake, to be honest. If you're doing it, you should not be doing it. There's no reason for that. You can make more money by shedding those obsolete responsibilities. You can get more work done, or you can here's an idea. You can make the same amount of money if you're happy with that and take the day off. Take the afternoon off. Go for a hike. Go for a walk. Go to the beach, right? That's okay. If that's what you want, you can do it. All right, let's talk about referrals and reviews. All right. You've heard this before, but it's true. The best source of your business is your existing customers, okay? If you have done all the things that we've talked about in the past little bit here, they're going to be impressed. You got it. All right, let me check our time here. We're running out, so I'm gonna step it up there a little bit. Yes, you can do that, and one of the ways to do that is, of course, messaging with using autoresponders, etc. You could use a purpose-built kickoff form that can be filled in by your clients and dropping their referrals right into the funnel. Pop-up notices, drip sequences. You can use any number of strategies here to get your existing clients who are happy to move your name and your business into the sphere of someone else, one of their colleagues who is a very likely someone that fits the profile. And then the last one is client follow-up. So yes, client follow-up is often overlooked. It's very similar to referrals, but in general, it's just keeping in touch with that client long-term. It's not that one touch that you say, okay, I asked him for a referral. He said no. Okay. Let's go back to our focus on 10. So our focus on 10. Yes, the 10 phases of business, the 10 business cycle, 10 phases of the business cycle, the 10% gain in 10 phases in 10 months. Yes. Here's how it stacks up. Here's the math, guys. If you get 10% in the first phase, that's 110% in your positioning and marketing. But the cool part is it compounds. It goes from 110% to 121 because I'm carrying the 110 into the next phase. And then I carry the 120 into the next phase. And you can see if I can gain a 10% efficiency in each phase, then it stacks up in a way that I end up at 259% on my bottom line. Okay. This is not in revenue. This is bottom line because you gain so much efficiency. You're doing the same amount of work and you'll get through 259% more profit, actual profit. Or you can do less work and get the same amount of profit, or more work, or you can go higher than 10% and get to 300 plus. This is in 10 months. If you go a little bit higher in some of these areas, then you're going to go higher. let's look at this. Are you going to get 10% extra effort? Yes, you're probably going to have to dedicate some extra effort to make this happen. But if you gain 10% efficiency, then you're net zero, right? It's not like you're going to be working nonstop to make all this work, and it's just going to be wasted somehow. You're going to get that efficiency back, and that's where you're going to actually start to win. And we're just talking about in the first year. Think about what can happen if you start to layer further than that, right? And if you say, I'm going to dedicate this 10% effort and get 10% efficiency, and I understand that it will come back to me in the long term, and I have zero commitment, zero risk, then you're well on your way to this next level of business, this organized and systematized. You've escaped from survive and struggle, right? You've done it, and you've done the work. You've gotten there. You've put in the work. Now you're going to reap the rewards. And we have just shown in just the first 10 months, you can get a huge, huge gain. But what could happen if you dedicated to this and you went long-term, or you went higher than 10%, you aimed higher? This is for sure a concept that will never change, that will never be questioned. There's no doubt about that this is real. And there's tons of books and authors out there that you can find that will say the exact same thing. This is not new. I didn't invent this. But I want to make sure that you understand that this is why SuiteDash exists. We built it to do these things, perfectly built and suited to do these things. So that's what we'll ask as a SuiteDash customer. Do the work. Get your life back. We'll help you, right? We're here to do that. And so that is something that I just want to make sure that you leave with. We're going to close here today with a video that's about that same concept. Someone who was in the struggle. They did the work. They found something that worked for them. They organized and they did the work. They got their life back. They lived their dreams and were able to have time for themselves. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
If you had seen me trying to figure things out, my head was spinning, my success was in doubt. But now the search is, the pain is over.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not searching, not anymore. I found just what I need. I'm not paying, not anymore. It's mine for life, and it looks just like me. Constantly I was on my knees, spending way too much in fees. No one in my team was pleased. All these things I was juggling, but now my life is easy. Everything's in one place, and it feels so free. Yeah, I can't be wrong. Did I mention their guarantee? I'm not searching, not anymore. I found just what I need. I'm not paying, not anymore. It's mine for life, and it looks just like me. Now I hope that you're listening. You can be just the same as me. The only thing you'll ever need is right here, but hurry please. Then your life can be easy. Everything's in one place, and it feels so free. No, you can't go wrong. Did I mention the guarantee? So stop searching, not anymore. You found just what you need. Stop paying, not anymore. Get yours for life and be just like